Talk shoes.
Recorded live.
Hello, this is Kat Miller. It is Tuesday, March 22nd, 2011, and I am here talking with Dane Kirby. Dane is our shaman, sweet man, great healer, and a very, very good friend of mine. Welcome to you, Dane.
Thank you, dear. Glad to be back here having fun.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, let's talk about people selling themselves short with the words they use.
Okay. What words do we use that sell us short?
Well, need never does you any favors. How about don't? I don't want to. The negative connotation words, instead of saying I want to do this, I don't want to do that. Go with I want to do. Don't waste time with the other. Why even give it power? Why bring it into your conscious zone?
Okay, well, what if they don't know? There's that don't too, huh?
Yeah, it's insidious, isn't
they
it?
They don't know what it is that they want. What if they just keep saying all that comes to their mind is what they don't want? Any thoughts?
Well, there's a few ways you can go about this. One that'll get you to change quickly is just start talking in front of a mirror like you're talking to a friend. And you'll notice every time you say something that's like, oh, I don't want to do this, or one of those contraction words, a negative word, instead of something that's positive, you'll catch yourself far quicker when you're doing that, and then you're just changing the habit that you've gotten yourself into.
That's your key word right there, isn't it? Habit.
Mm-hmm.
We tend to be creatures of habit, don't we?
Oh, yeah, we love our habits. We're physical beings, so habits are easy to ingrain. And they're really not that difficult to change if you are aware of them. It's the awareness that's the issue. How many times have you ever heard somebody do a talk or give a speech, especially if it's something to do with PowerPoints, and then they're like, okay, next we're going to go over here, and I like to do this, and we're going to have this slide next, and on our next presentation, and most people don't have a clue that they're doing the thing.
True, so very, very true. But the people around them very often really recognize it. I find myself, I hear that when people say that. And so very often it's every other thought is,
You know?
Yes. And it's just taking a moment to go back and listen to yourself, perhaps record yourself, and occasionally listen to these recordings and hear what others hear, because you don't really hear what you say yourself, too.
Never. It's a very difficult art for people to master.
Silence is better than Silence better than
Well, also it can be a cultural thing in a lot of cases too, depending on the culture. But you'll find that people, well, let's just go with America since this is where I've seen it at a lot. And people can't handle an empty space. If you and I are sitting there having a conversation, we don't have a problem. We'll be talking about something, and we may not say anything for 5 or 10 minutes to each other. We're okay with that. Yeah. But then we're communicating on a lot of levels because we listen. Yeah. And a lot of folks are not in that habit. It's faster, more. Uh-oh, there's an empty space here. It's getting awkward. I have to say something, to where it becomes automatic. And people are automatically doing it. They don't even realize it, even in times that there's no space that needs to be filled. But, here we go, that kind of thing.
What if that's not the only place we're filling spaces in? What if part of the reason why we have such difficulty changing habits is because we only state the habit that we are wanting to change, and we're not giving ourselves something to go in that open space where that negative habit was.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, dear. When I'm so used to cueing off of faces, this is kind of interesting for me, learning to sit here and make sure that it's stopped. So I like this. This is a new thing for me to do. But people get into, it's not that hard to change a habit. Any habit, especially with modern hypnosis, you can get rid of any habit within 21 to, well, actually faster than 21 days, but most people tend to say 21 days. It tends to be the standard, I guess you would say. So it's easy enough to get rid of any habit. Depending, you can even get rid of a habit in 1 or 2 sessions. But the thing is, you have to fill that in, because that took up space in you, whether it took up space in your soul, just in your thought process, or as a pattern that you followed. You have to replace it with something better, something positive, uplifting, take your pick. Worst case scenario, something just neutral. Because if you don't replace it with something, since it actually took up space at some level in your being, it'll just come back. And sometimes it comes back a lot stronger than it was before.
Exactly. Spaces. When you open up a space, fill it with something positive. If there's something you don't want to be doing, and you look at it and you say, I want to get rid of this habit, okay, instead of focusing on just getting rid of that habit, what do you want to replace it with? What do you want to replace it with? Good thought.
Well, you could even use, I don't want to be a couch potato anymore. That kind of thing. And instead of that, say, I want to be out walking around in this beautiful weather, inhaling the fresh air and having a great time. And, I want to do 2 miles of this today. That, go from that direction is what you're saying, and that works for me.
One comment that I have there on that sort of thing as well is want versus do. When you want something, you're putting it into the future. For some reason, I just started in the last couple minutes getting feedback. Are you fully on the computer, or are you?
You're breaking up a little too.
Well, I'm getting feedback from you.
Oh, here, let me do it this way. Better?
Okay. Yes, I think. No, I'm still getting feedback.
Because I'm nowhere near my speakers. I'm actually way away from them.
Are you okay? So you have a microphone. You're doing it on the microphone and speakers?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you just turn off the speakers, or just adjust something?
Here, let's turn them down a little. How's that?
Okay, let's see. Sounds better. Much better.
Okay.
You were doing great, and then all of a sudden I started hearing myself a lot.
Funny you should say that. Hearing yourself a lot.
What I was thinking is, when we say we want to, we're putting ourselves almost in a space of negativity. Not quite. We are in a positive space, but wanting is not quite the same as doing. When you talk about a couch potato, saying, I don't want to be a couch potato, now that's giving a negative connotation. That's saying, of course, what you don't want, not what you do want. And you talk about going into the positive about wanting to do the exercise and go out into nature. Instead of, perhaps, this is just where I'm looking at it, instead of saying, I want to go out to nature, I want to do the walk. And you can get a little bit more positive with I will, but even more positive is saying, I am. I am starting to take nature walks. tomorrow I am going to be going on a walk out here, or give yourself the exact start date, exact start time, because we tend to, especially when we haven't made something a habit, we tend to kind of put it all into the future, especially if we, for some reason, perceive it as something we may not want to do, or it's going to take up some of our energy. Does that make sense to you, Dane?
Totally. Totally. I agree with that completely. I even would add to that, when you do start doing it, say you're heading out the door to go for the walk that you've never done before, that you're going to do now, as you're heading out the door, right before you start, inhale and just, I am walking, and it's fun. And then when you're done with it, come in the door or wherever you're at and say, oh, that was a great walk. I'm doing it again tomorrow, and it's going to be even more fun.
Exactly. That sounds very much like the segment intention setting that Abraham talks about in the law of attraction and such. Segment intending. That's where you, as you are about to change activities, about to start something new in your day, you set your intention by thinking, this is what I want, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is how this is going to go. And you take 30 seconds maybe, probably a lot less for the most part, to set what it is you want this segment to be. And that's exactly what you just talked about right there. I am going out the door right this minute, and I am going to walk in nature, and I am going to enjoy this. Well, what if you start off your day with the intention of having it just flow magically, smoothly, beautifully for you? What fun would that be?
Works for me. I love doing that. One of the things that I teach people a lot of times is, when you go to bed at night, what do? And I just have them run it down for me. What do you do? And, brush your teeth. Amazing how many people actually don't brush their teeth before they go to bed. But, people will brush their teeth. Some folks get a shower. They might grab pajamas. They might not. And they hop into bed. And they go, okay, good night. And they just basically turn themselves off, or at least try to. And this is a perfect opportunity before your feet leave that floor, just to sit on the end of the bed and say, wow, I'm getting in bed now. I'm loving this sleep I have tonight. I'm thankful for it. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to wake up just charged, full of vitality, happy, and things are going to be a little brighter tomorrow. I'll see better focus tomorrow. I'll hear things that I didn't hear before. I'll set it up to where I tell people, set something up that you want to happen. Exactly. And see how it goes. And it's amazing how many people come back to me. I went to bed at night, the night before, and I sat there. I had my feet on the floor, inhaled deeply and let it out a couple times, and said, when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to notice all kinds of pretty bright orange colors around me as I'm going through my day. Okay, sure. Go for it. It's the way I look at it, if that's what you want to do. And it'd be amazing how all of a sudden you're aware of those things all throughout the day, and you never were before. And all you did was just program yourself to be aware. And if you do it when you're going to sleep, that's one of the best times to do it. Your mind, subconscious, superconscious, works on it for you while you're asleep, and you're set up ready to go. I do that for people that have test anxiety, anything like that. And it's just something very simple that anybody can do. We're all human, so anything I ever say, every other human can do it as well.
Well, it's really kind of interesting. This brought this thought up to me as you were talking about that. You ever notice how you get it in your mind that you have a particular car that you would like to buy, and then you really aren't seeing very many of them around? You go out, you buy that car. It's unique enough. It's you. And then you get in that car and you start to drive around, And then you discover that everybody has the same car you have.
Every time I get a car, that happens.
You're doing the same thing with the before you sleep, setting intentions. What's going to happen tonight? I'm going to get a beautiful, wonderful, enjoyable, relaxing, refreshing night's sleep. And in the morning, I'm going to wake up feeling totally energized and refreshed. And tomorrow's going to be an even more beautiful, fulfilling day than today. And here you have that start to happen. And you've seen it over and over again in your life with your cars and everything else. You find something unique that you think is going to be you and you alone. And you don't think that anybody else has it. And then all of a sudden, when you get it, you're attracting them all over the place, and you're seeing them everywhere.
Yep, that is the way it works. There's your law of attraction in a different form, isn't it?
Yes, it surely is. It surely is. There's another thing that I'd like to talk about when it comes to positive and negative is nutshell. That's a switch word that means be precise, be concise. What do you want? When you say what you want, make it direct. Make it concise and precise. And don't drag into it all of the reasons why you can't have it. Because you know what? You're not going to get what it is you want if you're dragging in all the reasons you can't have it because your focus is just turned to all the negatives. It's just turned to everything you don't want. You don't want to be focused on why you can't find the job of your dreams. You don't want to be focused on why you can't take that family vacation that you would so love to do this summer. What do you want to do? You want to take that vacation? Like Dane, he wants to go to Tucson. I just know this in my heart.
Feeling that in the bones, are you?
He terribly, terribly misses Kat, who came up there and gave him just a little taste of her presence up there in Michigan, and now she's back in Tucson. And I just know that Dane and Carrie and their little one, Charlie, want to come down to Tucson. And so what they can do is they can say, we're going to go to Tucson this summer. And then they just do it. They don't stop and say, but I don't know how I'm going to find the time off. They don't stop and say, but I don't know where the money is going to come from to be able to do this. Because all of those are things that get in your way and prevent you to do it. Because you know what? You're focused on the wrong thing. You're focused on not having the funds. You're focused on not having the time. You're focused on not knowing how you're going to do it instead of focused on what it is you're going to do. Now, that's just an example. I'm not saying that Dane has to come to Tucson this summer. I'm putting an example out there of the nutshell and the expanded version that includes all the things that are in your way. And why on earth would you want to focus on reasons why you can't do what you want to do?
That's it. One of my old teachers, as in a long time ago, he actually wasn't old at the time. He was much younger than I am now. He used to always say, get rid of the additions. So, I want to go to Tucson and see Kat, but I don't think I have the money. Well, that was an addition. He said, say what you want, throw the additions out. If you're adding on baggage. And if you add on baggage, it's like that commercial you see on TV lately. Is your car not running well? And they're pulling boat anchors and safes and pianos down the highway kind of thing. He said, anytime you put an addition on it, you just added baggage on you, and eventually it'll just take you completely out of whatever game it is you're wanting to do.
Exactly.
So the best thing you can do is just say it and stop right there. And it's okay if there's empty space afterwards.
nutshell.
Yep.
Put it in a nutshell. 5 words or less. Make it a short sentence a first grader could read to you. It's really quite amazing what happens when you start getting yourself in the habit of doing that, of dropping off all of those reasons why you can't do what it is that you want to do. I've just seen it so many times. When you really do get focused on what it is you want, and you don't focus yourself on why you can't have it or why you can't do it or what's the matter with it, it gets done. It happens. It goes. It flows. It absolutely does, because you have not put the rocks in there that you have to flow around. You don't have all those obstacles. And that's
if the only thing in your universe is I am, then that's what it is. So I am doing this, and that's all you say and all you hear, then that's all you're creating with your Holy Trinity.
I am powerful. Powerful word,
Right.
I am. If you hear yourself say, I am, you better pay attention to what follows.
Oh, yeah. Indeed.
If you say,
indeed.
I am tired, guess what? You're going to get even more tired.
That's it.
If you say, I am exhausted, if you say, I am aching, if you say, I am in a bad mood, if you say, I am angry, if you say these I ams, and then you wonder why your life is going down the toilet. Because you keep creating with I am. And the things that you are creating with I am are not the things that you really want to be creating. I am joyous. I am lovely. I am beautiful. I am making a wondrous life for myself and my family. I am doing things I love. I am is powerful. It comes and brings the present to the future in a way that no other word combination does.
So true.
What do you want? What do you want? You can I am.
Well, be careful with the I am, I found out, because it's amazing how many people say I am, and then it's whatever, let's say, their parents pounded on them as a kid about.
Mm-hmm.
So don't fill in what somebody else says about you. Fill in what you know about you by your actions that you're taking, and if you don't like those actions, then as you change them, fill it in as I am doing this good thing for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't live for other folks. That'll get you every time. Even if you don't realize you're doing it. You're saying the things that you were told as a kid.
True.
The other thing, too, with what you were saying on the I am, if you don't mind, I want to go into the Holy Trinity. Did we talk about that?
I don't believe we really did.
Okay, it's when you think something or feel it and it comes up as a thought or as an emotion or feeling, myself, I'll say it comes from my heart, because I took a lot of years to work to make sure it does come from my heart and not from my head. So the idea, the thought, shows up in my heart. Then that's one out of a 3-part thing. When I speak it and bring it out into this world and bring it out into this physical universe, plane of existence, but it's also a vibration, so it travels on all kinds of levels. That's 2. And then as it comes back to me, whether I hear it or if it just comes bouncing back and connects with my skin again, if I'm unable to hear, that's a full circle that completes and it comes back to where it came from. That's considered a Holy Trinity. Everything we say is part of a Holy Trinity. And every culture has them. Whether, say, it might be Father, Son, Holy Ghost, that kind of thing. Even in writing we have it, like tricolons. One of the things I had done when I had Laughing Tiger Hypnotherapy was My Life, My Path, My Destiny. Threes are very powerful for human beings. But anything to do with you think it, you speak it, and then you receive it back, every time you do that, it's your own Holy Trinity. That means you're either really taking care of yourself by saying, I love my life. I love what I do. Doesn't that feel a lot better than, oh man, this day's going to suck? You know, I mean, you can feel it, hear it, smell it, touch it, taste it, however it registers for you. The difference in that, it's like I tell people a lot of times, do you want to be Schleprock from the Flintstones? Remember going around with a cloud over his head? Woe is me.
Mm-hmm.
That's of our own creation. It doesn't matter what anybody else has ever done to us. It's up to us to be good to ourselves. And we can do that with every time we speak. Every time we say something, we can enhance our own personal universe.
And you got to take action. That's one thing that a lot of people miss, is that they'll say, you know, I've been doing these affirmations, I've been doing these switch words, I've been saying these chants, I've been saying these prayers, and nothing works for me. I don't think that there's anything to the law of attraction. I don't think there's anything to any of this stuff, because nothing ever works for me. Well, what action have you taken? Have you had a thought of something different from what you normally have been doing come into your head and dismissed it right after you've chanted some switch words or said a prayer or done any of these other techniques? Well, yeah, but. There you go.
That was too crazy. I couldn't do that. That's embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I could
or
never do
out of
something
my
like
routine.
that. What would my family think? What would my friends think if I did that?
It's out of my routine.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
One of the fun things I like to teach people at night when you go to bed as part of that whole process, take a little juice glass full of water, you know, like when you used to have the little jelly glass as a kid, and that would be your water glass. Something like that. Doesn't have to be much. And sit down, feet on the floor, before you go to bed, and say, I want the answer to this. Whatever your question is. Whether it's, well, let's say in today's economy, what can I do starting tomorrow that I can improve my monetary situation in my life in a way that I'm happy with? Say that, breathe deeply, say it out loud, drink half the glass of water. Put the glass down on the night table or next to the bed. Into bed you go to sleep, just let it go. In the morning when you get up, sit up, put your feet on the floor, finish the glass of water, and in 99.9% of the cases, people already woke up with the answer in their head. I've never seen it take 2 days that I can remember. It usually happens within that 12-hour span. But never, ever discount what you hear yourself say when you wake up. Write it down. It's amazing how people will treat it like a dream because it'll be so alien to the way they're living that it just fades away quickly like a dream because, oh, that couldn't have been real.
Besides the cup of water, perhaps a journal next to your bed. So that when you are in that clear state of mind, when you are first waking up, you can write down those thoughts that have just come to you before they fade away.
And you have to put them out in this world, and writing is an excellent way to do it. And in some ways, I prefer it over recording it. Because if it's there in front of you on that notepad, you're going to see it. Whereas if you record it on a tape, I'll listen to that later. So I like your idea of the journal.
Later becomes someday becomes never, because whenever you look at the calendar, you can't find someday. It's not there. Someday is not there.
Well, here's a thought for you, Kat. What do you think about the statement that the reason people are so, well, I'll just say sloppy with their language use and accustomed to being negative in how they use it, or use it negatively a lot of times, has to do with, oh wow, and I just lost my choo-choo there. Give me 1 second here. Reacquiring the choo-choo. Has to do with they are not used to living in the now. If you live in the now, it really is impossible to do that, or at least extremely difficult to live in the now, yet use language negatively, because it goes against the very grain of what you're doing. Because if you're living in the now, you are not living in a negative place. You don't want to. You're not going to, because now is now. So now might as well be positive. So what do you think of that?
Now has nothing to do with them. Now has nothing to do with what already has happened. Now has nothing to do, actually, with the future. So if you are in the now, then you are fully present to the sensations of what is going on around you, of what actually is happening. And yeah, you can't really be negative if you're in the now, because if you're in the now, you're not focused on what happened yesterday that caused so many problems. I'm getting feedback from you again.
Well, I haven't adjusted anything.
Oh.
How's that?
It was kind of barking. Well, I'm not hearing it now. So
I'm secretly barking, and you just don't know it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, well, it is kind of, it's almost like a bark, and it's not constant, but it keeps happening every once in a while. It's just really true. If you are focused in the now, completely in the now, you don't have any of the reverberation of things from the past that you have issues with, or that you had issues with, or that you swallowed down. You're not focused on what you didn't like in the past, and you're not focused on the things that are in the future that you're afraid are going to repeat the past. You're still holding on. You're not in the now. If you're worried about things from the past happening in the future, then you are not in the now.
And if you're in the now, you're too busy doing the things that you want to do, that are action. You're taking action. You're not going to waste time with the rest of it, because there's no space for it, since you're in the now.
Exactly.
And if you're in the now, you're taking action, and that takes care of the whole, well, I've done all the affirmations, and I've done the law of attraction, and nothing happened. Well, that's because you were throwing it way out in the future, living off the past, most likely, things that have happened to you in the past, causing you to ask for what you want in the future, instead of just being in the moment and starting it, doing it.
Exactly. It reminds me of, I think I talked about this on the talkcast with Marianne under Cat Talks, about let your words be your integrity. If you let your words be your integrity, if you let your words be authentic, and then if you stand by your words, they'll stand by you. If you're not standing by your words, if you're focused in the past and you're worried about the future and you're dragging all of that to you, if you've got the buts and you've got the ands and you've got the worries and it's no longer a nutshell. I'm getting a lot of feedback again, Dane. I'm sorry.
Odd.
I'm wondering, now you have speakers. Have you considered getting earphones?
Yeah, I'll go to headphones for the next one. I don't have anything to get my hands on quickly right now.
Yeah, and that's fine. I just find that the headphones make such a world of difference with the feedback.
Since we had so much fun with it last time, I'm happy just to be on the Talkcast or the Talk Shoe.
Yes. So, yeah, let go of all of those things that you don't want. Quit focusing on them. And when you want to change a bad habit, you want to get rid of something, then choose something you want to have, replace it. What is it that you want?
I would actually say the thing you want to replace what you want to get rid of, start that first. Get used to the idea of, wow, this is cool, and then start changing out the, let's say, bad habit, since that usually is what most people want to do. So I would recommend actually, it's generally what I do. I don't do this all the time for folks, but in most cases, for most people, start picking up the good habit first. As in,
you're pushing out the bad.
Yeah, and it'll push it. Now you're not doing all the work pulling it out. It's already getting moved out on its own, and suddenly it's like having the movers come over and moving the couch. You're just telling them where you want it. You're not having to do the lifting. And that makes it a lot simpler.
Exactly. What fun. So remember, when you think about what you want, if you hear, well, I need to, or I have to, or I should, you're in the negative space still. You're not where you want to be. Want to say what you want. Want to say, I am, and follow I am with the action you want to have.
Yeah.
And then follow through with that action. I said I wanted to do some extra talkcasts, some focused talkcasts, some directed talkcasts, one-on-one with individuals. And I didn't follow through. That was last July. I did one of them. And I think I did another one maybe in September or some other time after last July. So I did two of them over the course of probably 6 months. And I kept talking to, I told Kevin, hey, would you like to do this with me? Yeah. He says, yeah, I'd like to do that. Well, I say, let me know. When would be a good time for you? And then I never hear from him. Oh, it's Kevin's fault. Yeah, right, Kat, it's Kevin's fault. Did you ask him what day specifically is good for him? No, you did not. Is it Kevin who wants to have these podcasts? No, it's you. So why did you throw the ball into Kevin's court and leave it? Hello? Kat went back a couple of weeks ago, I guess it was about 3 weeks ago, and she brought the idea up with Kevin again and said, Kevin, would you still like to do those podcasts with me? Kevin says, yes, I absolutely would. Kat says, what day is good for you? Kevin says, Monday. What time? Kat says. Kevin says, what time? Kat says, you got it. This coming Monday? Kevin says, yes, ma'am. Guess what? Kat and Kevin have done 3 podcasts now. Why? Because Kat took action instead of just saying words. Kat did this with Dane. Kat did this with Marianne. Kat has 3 podcasts during the week now. Kat.
That's busy.
Action.
But you're having fun, aren't you?
Words. Yes, and I'm having a ball. Which, of course, means to say that we've gone past the half hour and we're approaching 40 minutes, so it's probably a good idea for us to start turning this podcast to the end and preparing for what we're going to do next week. Do you have any thoughts for next week? whatever flows is just fine with me. We don't have to set
I'm actually enjoying that we just play it by ear, and usually we give a call the day before. Hey, what are we talking about tomorrow?
Yeah, okay.
What's been bouncing around in your life,
Yes, that's just fine. That's what we'll do.
I do like that, but truthfully, here's something I'm going to put out to folks. Kat had set me up with a blog post a few months ago when we originally met, and I fell into the thing of it wasn't a habit I was in. I was busy with the brand new baby and all that good stuff, and I can give you a million excuses if you want, but it just came down to it wasn't a habit I was in, and it wasn't in my reality where it should have been. So now my thing is, let's go with whatever comes in on the blog for me this week. We'll pick something out, and we'll go with that.
Okay, that sounds good.
How's that sound? You like that?
That sounds good. That sounds good. We have a couple people that responded on the blog this last week between the first and the second podcast here. Very interested in things that you said. In fact, Marianne, was it Marianne?
Right, Marianne.
I'm sure it was Marianne that said that she just loved the way you jingled the Allow, Find, Be somehow last week. She thought that was just as cute as could be. And I don't know if she said that in what she wrote there, but I know she said it to me.
We'll put this out there with Marianne and say I'm going to link a video to that just for you, Marianne, to show you how powerful the Allow, Find, Be somehow is. I'll link it to the blog for anybody that wants to look at it. I'll get it done this week. I don't even know how to do it yet, but I'll find out and do it, okay?
Yep, just Allow, Find, Be somehow it.
That's it.
What fun. Okay. Well, now we know that Dane is willing to focus these talks on topics coming from the people who are reading his blog at Blue Iris. Now, that blog you will find at blueiris.org/forum. And you do need to join the forum in order to be able to post there. And so just send a request for membership, and you should be approved within a day or so of sending your request. And then you should be able to post a note there. If you can't post on the forum when you try to do it, drop a note to Kat. And my email address is ehdef.com@gmail.com. And say, hey, Kat, I joined the forum. This is the email address that I'm on the forum at, and I'm not able to post. And I'll set you up to be able to post at the forum. So, because there are some, I guess, robots or something that have joined the forum and they want to be able to post, and we don't like those kinds of posts there. And so there are, when somebody joins the forum frequently, they don't have the ability to do any kind of posting, but I've tried to make posting available to real live members there. So if you're a real live member at the forum and you don't have posting ability, then write to me at ehdef.com@gmail.com, and that's E as in energy, H as in help, D as in dynamics, E as in emotional, F as in freedom.com@gmail.com, and say, please give me posting rights, and I shall. Well, great talk, Kat, and we will look forward to seeing you again next week, Dane.
Allow, find, be somehow. Allow, find, be somehow. Allow, find, be somehow.
Thank you.
Hopefully that didn't hurt too many ears.
Not at all, I'm sure.
Good.
Thank you very much. I'll talk to you next week or later this week or whenever you talk to me.
Sounds good. We'll get connected. And folks, thanks for listening in. Thanks for enjoying it. Now that you've heard all this, go do something with it.
Absolutely. Make it positive. Make the impact. Be what you want to be. Be what you want your world to be, because you are what you are now becoming.
and let us know how that works for you, and let's just keep another form of a Holy Trinity going.
You got it. Fun, fun, fun. Have
Indeed.
a magic, dazzle, enchanted week. Bye now.
Bye-bye.